Hi world, it's 11 minutes past 11 a.m. on the 19th of April 2024. I'm not in my normal place. I've got a few things to say here before I get into the astrology of what's going on right now, and that is pivotal, but I've got a few things to say first. Firstly, I'm not in my normal place. I know I'm going to get a bit of grief from some of you for the following statement, but I've done it and I'm doing it. I've been on a plane and I've criticised people in the past for wasteful air travel, and now I find myself hypocritically doing the same myself. I've just finished a 26-hour journey. I'm currently in the wonderful city of Hobart in Tasmania, almost exactly the other side of the world from where I normally am. Can't believe I'm saying this, but I am. And I'm going to be here for a few days. I'm here for a wedding of two of my very best friends whom used my services to pick the best place for them to get married. And when I used their astrocartography and said, well, I have to say Hobart's looking good, and so's that conjunction because it's right smack on your joint midheaven and it's aspecting both your charts really brilliantly, they went, okay, we'll do it. And I'm like, oh, okay. Next thing you know, I've got an invite and I'm staying in an absolutely gorgeous hotel in Hobart in Tasmania called the Islington Hotel. It's a boutique hotel and it's exquisite. I come from humble working class roots. I've never really felt I deserved luxury in my life. But now pushing 70, I find myself, I've got a bit of luxury. I mean, I'm still going economy class everywhere I can, but I've got luxury here. If you ever find yourself in Hobart, Tasmania, and you need a place to stay, the Islington Hotel, it's amazing. So, yeah, I'm at a wedding tomorrow for a couple of friends, and then I'm going to be back in the UK in less than a week's time. But before then, there's some other big things happening. About a week ago, I recorded a 1.5 hour segment of videos, or two separate videos, with one of the very, very few astrologers in the world I tip my head to. The esteemed, if I call her the doyenne of astrology, she'll probably bite my head off, but the esteemed astrologer, Penny Thornton. It was a privilege to work with her. And we sat alongside each other and we tried to sort out all the world affairs, focusing primarily on the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, but also looking at its effects in the British royal family, in the charts of Ukraine and Moscow and Putin and Israel and Palestine and Biden and Trump and various other things as well. Now this will be released, at least on Penny Thornton's website, YouTube, and hopefully on mine as well at 5 p.m. UK time tomorrow, Saturday the 20th, the day after tomorrow. My time zones are all over the place at the moment. Also, at the moment of the conjunction, I'm going to be doing a live stream with one of the other very few astrologers I hold in great esteem and respect, Rick Levine. And myself and him are going to be doing a live stream on both of our YouTube channels at 7 p.m. Pacific time on Friday the 20th, which will be 3 a.m. UK time on Saturday, 7 p.m. Pacific time on Saturday the 20th, 3 a.m. in the morning on UK time on Sunday the 21st, and midday Tasmania time on Sunday the 21st, where I'll be. And we're going to be talking for about an hour live on YouTube. We will not be opening it up to live verb audio questions, but we will hopefully have a text box where you can ask questions of us, and we're going to do an hour of transmission and then we're going to do a half hour of questions. So I don't yet know how the technology is going to work, but Rick assures me it will, and I have absolute confidence in that man. And we're going to be talking about the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. Now, as I speak, the sun is at 29.5 degrees of Aries. It's about to move into Taurus, and this will happen in less than 12, or just about 12 hours from now. The moon is in early Virgo, and we're coming up to a full moon in early Scorpio. This will be happening in about 4.25 days from now. But before we get there, we have the little matter of the grand conjunction. I find it surreal that I'm talking with two of the greatest astrologers in history over the next 24 hours live on YouTube in a way at the time of the grand conjunction. So it's two of the astrological greats and me talking together at the time of the grand conjunction, which happens only every 14 years. The Jupiter-Uranus conjunction will be in Taurus at 21 degrees, and it's well documented now what this is going to be doing, but let me just briefly recap in as succinct and short a space as possible what's going to be happening with regard to this conjunction on the world stage. The conjunction is taking place at 21 degrees of Taurus. Joe Biden has Mercury at 21 degrees of Scorpio. Donald Trump has the Sun at 21 degrees of Gemini and the Moon at 21 degrees of Sagittarius. Rishi Sunak, the British Prime Minister, has the Sun at 21 degrees of Taurus, so the conjunction is exactly on top of his Sun. Vladimir Putin has Pluto on the midheaven in Leo, both at 21 degrees of Leo, so the conjunction is exactly squaring his Pluto and his midheaven. It is also taking place exactly on top of the Sun position of the nation of Israel and the nation of Palestine, both with the Sun at 21 degrees of Taurus. It's also very strong in a number of other national charts. We are in the middle of an absolute crisis on planet Earth at the moment. The war in Ukraine, the wars, plural, in the Middle East, and the escalation and acceleration of these in the last few days is likely to continue to develop over the next 72 to 96 hours. I do expect things to get a little bit crazier in the world over the coming few days, and I have said to many people, this is not a good time for you to be starting anything new, sticking your head above the parapet, and I've advised a lot of people to stay under the radar screen. I've also particularly advised people not to be flying over this conjunction, particularly over the Middle East. Here am I putting my head right above the parapet, and I've just flown halfway around the world, so you know, and it's a Mercury retrograde. Go figure. I question my own sanity sometimes, but sometimes the universe just throws things at you, and you either do them or you don't. And I don't want to spend the rest of my life regretting what I didn't do when I had the chance. At pushing 70, I know I'm 80%, 85% of the way through my life. So this is probably my last big adventure on my own. But I've never been here before. I've never seen the southern skies. I've never seen the southern aurora. I've never seen the Southern Cross, so I hope to get to see that on this time round. And if so, I'll put one or two nice thumbnails up of it. The Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, look at the area of 21 degrees Taurus in your personal charts. The combination of Jupiter-Uranus, Uranus brings change, which can be unpredictable and chaotic and disruptive and challenging, as well as innovative and futuristic, novel, exciting. And it carries words like independence, freedom, and liberty. Uranus was discovered at the time of the American Revolution and the French Revolution, and the development of the basic forms of a lot of the sciences that have developed over the last 250 years. Jupiter amplifies everything it touches. Now, Uranus and Jupiter have a good relationship with each other. In mythology, they are grandfather and grandson. Uranus' son, Kronos, Saturn, castrated him, and fearful that his children would do the same to him, he ate all of his children, although Zeus / Jupiter was secreted from him by his wife / sister, Rhea, and substituted with a hot stone. Jupiter grew up outside of his father's belly and returned in time to disembowel his father and free all of his siblings. This was the Titanomachi, the war between the Titans and the Olympians. So Uranus and Jupiter are grandfather and grandson. They both, in mythology, dislike Saturn, Kronos. The Mars-Saturn conjunction of the last week is now drawing to a close. Mercury is still retrograde. But there's nothing specifically affecting the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction at the moment in any detrimental way. It's got a wild energy about it. So look at what house in your horoscope the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction at 21 Taurus is taking place in, and particularly look at any planet in your chart that is at 20, 21 or 22 degrees of any sign, and plan accordingly, because there's going to be an upturn, an upsurge of energy, both personally and collectively. Collectively, it's already happening. Now, viewed negatively, this can lead to a large number of explosions. This can lead to explosions globally or in our individual lives. It can lead to people going, but I don't want a drama, I want a crisis. And they can deliberately engineer things so that it becomes larger than life, mountains made out of molehills, or things blown out of all proportion. Viewed neutrally, this is going to make current situations in the world seem much bigger than they actually are, and it could bring, in many cases, a kind of step forward of which there's no return from. It's a game changer. Viewed positively, I would hope that there's going to be some innovative, novel, futuristic and exciting breakthroughs, not breakdown, but breakthrough over the coming few weeks, which is going to revolutionise our attitudes towards new technology, towards AI, towards stem cell development, towards space travel particularly, and towards the way we deal with the fundamental laws of physics that have governed our existence so far. Humanity is on the cusp of a massive upgrade in terms of consciousness enhancement, and the traumas that we're collectively going through now are necessary for us to shed the ghosts, the fears and the tears of the past so that we can move enlightened into a better future for all of us. And this is not a question of some are going to go and the rest are going to be left behind. It is everyone collectively. And that means taking our shadows with us and working consciously to allow our shadows, A, to dispel all of their negative fear, and B, to give those shadows a home within ourselves, because they are a vital part of our being. Without them, we wouldn't be here. So don't try and get rid of the dark side. Give it a little dungeon at the core of your being where it can feel that it's part of the team, and even under very carefully controlled circumstances, come out and play. We all have them. It's 1% of our nature. It's who we are. And it's time to recognise that. I feel that the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is going to liberate us from old, staid patterns of indoctrination that have kind of compressed us into regurgitative patterns of behaviour over the last 200 to 300 years. When you think back, how far we've come just in the last 10 generations. 10 generations ago, 250 years ago, Uranus wasn't even discovered, let alone Neptune and Pluto. 95% of people were still working in the fields. There was no technology. Look where we are now. Extrapolate this forward at the accelerating rate of evolution that is still getting faster. Within 50 years, we will have exceeded the solar system. Within 50 years, we would have exceeded most of the medical issues that plague us at this time. We will have found ways of managing the environment, even though some of the ways of doing this may not suit everybody. But the cost of this growth will either be living in a far more egalitarian and democratic world, or a far more totalitarian and despotic world. And that choice is up to us collectively. I feel that the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction now is a choice point. Do we move forward into a future with hope and humour and optimism? Or do we enter into it with fear of the future? I know which side I'm on. So yeah, dance with the next few days. I'll be doing a couple more videos in the next couple of days. And yeah, keep dancing. Catch you later, world. Bye now.